All right. I do not own the rights. Let's hit it. Ladies and gentlemen, okay. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's hit it. Let's go. Let's go. Hi. It's going to be a long one today. Hey. 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 Oh, I got them ready, honey, for today. I got them ready for today. What's going on, Aaron? What's going on, Tavon? What's going on, Adrian? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Baby, I got the topics all right here written down already, honey. We're going to ease through the show. Hi, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Oh, my gosh. I was a little aggravated before I started today. I just want to get this out off my chest. I have two sisters. Anybody that knows me knows that I have two sisters. They're both younger than me. I'm the oldest of three. And, you know, a lot of times when you're the oldest, you know, you kind of have to divide your attention. And I just want to say, Melinda, I love you. You know that I love you. Your birthday was 9 days ago. And now I'm giving you a shout out on live. Your birthday was 9 days ago. Everybody in the comment section, say happy birthday to Melinda. My other sister, Royce, her 40th birthday is today. Happy birthday, Royce. So we're saying happy birthday in the comments to both of my sisters, because they both fall in January. You know, that is hellish on gifts and all that. So... happy birthday, y'all. Y'all know that I love you unconditionally, just like y'all love me unconditionally. There is never, you know, none of that stuff going on. So there's, you know, no need for all that. But I love y'all both equally. I do. You know, a lot of people, you know, that are trans don't have families that support them. You know what I mean? There it is. And I say it all the time. You know what I mean? And I'm glad that I have both of you in my life. Not one more than the other. Both of you. I'm glad and I'm grateful to happy, you know, and happy that y'all are in my lives and support me the way that y'all do. Hi. I'm glad I got that out because, you know, it was a lot going on this morning. Hi, everybody. Oh! We're doing it today. We are doing it today. Shout out to K. Michelle for providing me with my background music. I do not own the rights. This is all her. Hi, Dennis. Hi, everybody. Ah! Okay. Let me just say this too. Whether it's knackers or what is said to be originally said, honey, I don't care what it is. I don't care what it is. I don't care what it is. Yes, y'all do, Kelly. Thank you. And thank you for everybody that supports me, you know, in my walk and in my growth, you know what I mean, in business and nonprofit and everything. Thank y'all so much. Let me pin this, support a link for those who would like to support anything that I am doing. As far as the nonprofit, I posted the link in the comment section. You know, whether it's a little or a lot, please support. Because if I can get this 501c3 together, you know, then I'll be able to help y'all. I mean, that's how it is. That is how that is. But yeah, whether it's knackers or what was said to be said, honey, I don't care what it is. You know what I mean? It's, you know, we call each other these things. So therefore it's It's making it seem like that it's okay. Bitch, I don't want to be called neither one. Thank you very much. I don't care what it is. I don't care what derogatory term it is. I don't care what she meant. I don't care if it was a mistake. I don't care if it was on purpose. Bitch, I don't want to be called that at all. So to see people that are in my community calling each other that is just, it's just the same thing as saying the other word, the derogatory term. To me, I mean, I don't know. I mean, and all of the defending and all of that, no. Like I'm not going for it. I mean, I didn't want to spend a whole lot of time on that, but like I just want to make it clear, like, bitch, I don't care what the fuck she said. To be honest. It is what it is. I was just surprised that I saw so many people defending that. When, bitch, we all know how they feel about you, Bump. We all know how they feel about you, Growl. Please. Would they defend you in the same situation? If you was to call them the name that sounds like donkey, bitch, would they defend you in that same situation? Bitch, I don't think so. So get the fuck out of here. Enough. Bitch, defend your own like you defend these other people. That's all I'm saying. So, we got a fab, big, large Trans Talk Tuesday this week. We are going to be talking about trans sex work horror stories. We are going to be getting into LGBTQ versus the Black church. I can't wait for that one. We're going to be talking about trans women invading spaces claiming lack of inclusion. Because I'm noticing this happening a lot. I'm actually going to start there. A well-known blogger, that's, that blogs and stuff like that. She has a video. She does things for like comedy and things like that. A lot of y'all might know her. I forget her name. I know one of her profiles is Kiva Problematic Jackson. Fox Giselle. Fox Giselle decides that she wants to go into a gay bathhouse. And, she's filming and everything in the bathhouse, and she's getting smart with the guy that's at the front thing, basically saying, wondering why she can't come in there. She's wondering why she can't come in there. She's wondering why she can't come in there. She's like, well, I've got female on my ID. I don't know if male or female was on her ID or not, but this kind of behavior is freaking problematic for our community. I don't even have to explain why it's problematic, but we all know that it's problematic. Bitch, it's a bathhouse, girl. What are you doing in there? What are you doing in there, girl? What are you doing in there? You know what I mean? It doesn't... Hi, Denise. I love you. What are you doing in there? And then when, we're not permitted or allowed in these places and spaces that are clearly not made for us, bitch, then we want to freaking wave our freaking flags. Like, bitch, come on. You don't fucking belong in there, girl. Now, if you detransition and, undo all of your credentials, bitch, that's a different story. But, bitch, you know that your trans ass don't belong in no motherfucking bathhouse for gay men. I mean, come on. Like, come on. We're always screaming and yelling about having our own spaces, but then when we get our own spaces, bitch, we want to invade other people's spaces. Claiming they're not including us. Bitch, that's for shit like the White House, the Supreme Court. Bitch, we need to be freaking lobbying for that. Bitch, not gay bathhouses. The fuck is wrong with you? Oh, I can't. I can't. Like I said, I wish... Oh, she want to take a bath? It's something. Like, you know what I mean? And, I'm all for comedy, and all of that. I'm all for comedy. I'm all for shits and giggles. You know what I mean? Everybody knows by the way I post things about my dark sense of humor that I have and all of that. That's fine. But bitch, when you are taking your trans ass and coming into the gay bathhouses, bitch, and you're dead serious talking about why I can't come in here, bitch, it's clear why you can't come in there. Heifer? I mean, I just don't understand those who continue, and then we make fun and, we get upset at other people making a mockery out of what it is to be a femme queen, about what it is to be, a trans woman. You know what I mean? We constantly are up other people's asses for doing that. Bitch, when it's our own that's doing it. Comedy is okay. Mockery is something different. Comedy is okay. Making a mockery is something different. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. While we're on mockeries, I'm going to move on to the case of Willow Kessler. If you do not know who Willow Kessler is, I have her picture. When I was promoting what we were going to be talking about today, I posted this person's picture, who's basically done interviews and, different things, done interviews, joined groups, put their profile out there as a trans woman. See, this is the thing that is like really, really, really irking me about how we live in the era that we're living in. This person is basically saying that she's trans, blah, 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 blah. Does a whole interview about how she doesn't accept the non-binary community and all of these other things, comparing that to her transition, because everybody's under the impression that bitch, she is Willow. See, this is why I feel that transitions, everybody's always accusing me about policing transitions. Oh, Niambi, why you policing everybody's transitions? It's about the way they feel inside. No, bitch, fuck that. Transitions need to be policed. Whether it's by a doctor, whether it's by a psychiatrist, whether it's by your girlfriend that has more experience than you, bitch, transitions need to be policed. Period. I'm sick of the shit. Now it's time for my retta. Hold on. Transitions need to be the fuck policed. I don't care about what nobody says. Damn it. See, I was supposed to have my freaking lighter up here. Did I put it in here? Oh, here we go. Yeah. So like I said, transitions need to be policed, bitch. Fuck all that. Oh, it's all about the way they feel inside and all of that shit. Like I'm done. I'm sick of it. I am sick of it. Bitch, transitions need to be policed, whether it's by a doctor, whether it's by a psychiatrist, or whether it's by your motherfucking girlfriend doing, or your girlfriend somebody. Yes. Here we go right here. I'm ready. Mila says, my big sister, I love you so much. I can't really. Oh, I love you too, Mila. Yeah, so transitions need to be policed for this exact reason. People going out and making a mockery of what it is to be a trans woman or a trans man or whatever it is, our whole trans community. Bitch, the shit needs to be policed. Because now it turns out that Willow is not Willow at all. Willow is William. And is actually going out here and talking and speaking on behalf of a community that she's not even a part of, that he is not even a part of. I'm not going for that. I'm not going for that. And bitch, they can call it hate speech. They can call it whatever the fuck they want to call it. I could care less. I could care less. Because there is a way to do things. Bitch, if you want to become a lawyer, you don't, bitch, come out and just say, bitch, I'm a lawyer. If you want to become a doctor, you don't come out and just say, bitch, I'm a doctor. There is a journey and a process that you have to go through in order to achieve that. So all of this gender confusion and gender, no, bitch. You have to go through the process. Everybody's process is not the same, but there is a process. I'm sorry. I am sorry. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Bitch, you take a picture in a wig and make an online profile and boom, you're trans? Bitch, I don't think so. Now, when you have my sisters and brothers, bitch, who have died, bitch, just being who the fuck they are, I don't think so. Yes, you see what that cigarette does to me? Honey, it just comes out. It just comes out, honey. It just comes out. And mind you, all of this stuff, bitch, gets built up all week long. So, bitch, when I come on Tuesday, bitch, I got it. No, but I'm serious. It makes a mockery not only out of the trans people who have died and went through their processes and went through bot surgeries and went through, nearly killing themselves. You know what I mean? And all of these things, and our babies who truly are feeling not in their right body. It not only makes a mockery out of them, but the people that we've influenced, like our mothers who we gain our womanhood from, our mothers, our aunts, things like that, our grandmothers, things like that. So I don't fucking think so. Nobody's making a mockery out of my grandmother, God rest Fanny little soul. Oh no, they're not. So, bitch, yes, if it takes me to police a fucking transition for them to get some fucking act right up in them, oh well. Thank me later. Thank me later. The hell with that. Control says it makes a real trans person dysphoria seem disingenuous. That is the reason why there is so many things that you have to go through now in order just to get the basic surgeries, the basic hormones, the basic, insurance. We got to jump over all these freaking loopholes because of motherfuckers like that. Because of motherfuckers like that is the reason why we have to go through. I'm helping a young lady attain insurance and find a doctor now where she lives at because of that. Hey, Tammy, what's going on? Thank you, sister. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. And the more and more visible we become, the harder it gets. We have all these people in their celebrity. We have all these people, on television and in media and in movies and in all these different things. And it's just making it harder for people who don't have those platforms. And don't have, and don't have the resources. That is why if I ever, become to a point to where I'm well off or celebrity or where, even though I don't want it, but if that ever comes my way, bitch, I'm automatically going to reach back. You know why? Because that's what the fuck I'm doing already. I've already used my ballroom platform to reach back. So, bitch, I won't be doing anything different. But that is what people that have these particular platforms need to do. Talk about, you know what I mean? Right. Well, the thing about it is, yeah. And in life, there is a process to everything. So why should transition be different? There is a process to everything and anything that we do. Bitch, we don't come out grown. We start out little and then we grow. We don't come out the womb as an adult. Bitch, we do the process. Bitch, we go through school, go through puberty, the whole thing, bitch, until we're an adult. I don't get it. I really don't get it. But like I said, there's a lot of transitions out here that need to be policed. They need to be policed. Yes, they do. I said it. And if I gotta be the one to police them, bitch, I am. Bitch, I'm well versed and well experienced. Bitch, in transition. Bitch, I didn't transition yesterday. So, bitch, I'm well qualified to give advice. It might not be degree experience, but bitch, it's life experience, which is on an equal playing field. To me, you got a whole bunch of people you got a whole bunch of people out there with degrees, bitch, with nothing to show for it. The best experience to me is life experience. Actually going through something and then teaching someone else, paying it forward, how to go through that. Even though it will be different, a lot of the pitfalls that you experienced, that person won't have to experience. That's all I'm saying. That is all I'm saying. Now I'm going to interact with y'all. But yeah, so about Willow, before I close this out. Yeah, he did all these things. He's got a video out there saying, oh, I'm William and I only do this because of blah, 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 blah. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? What for? To gain notoriety? That is the only thing that, you could be aiming for by doing something as stupid as that. You did not care to look at the statistics of trans women that were, that's no different than Nikki Tutorial. You're out here freaking fooling folks. You're a gay man, but you're telling everybody that you're a trans woman. You're out here fooling folks. Which is perpetuating what the mainstream society thinks of trans people anyway. No, Willow needs to leave me alone, Monet. She needs to leave me alone. She needs to leave me and my community alone. Our community alone. That's what she needs to do. He needs to do. Whatever needs to do. Them, they, there needs to do. Honestly. And that goes for anybody else that decides to do that shit. You're doing it for attention. People that transition don't transition for attention. Some of them do, but the majority of us who have dysphoria do not. They just don't. They're too busy battling what's inside of them, honey, to try to seek out attention from social media and the internet. They're too worried about what's inside of them and how they feel uncomfortable with them. Honestly. So, child, let me leave him alone and move it on forward. Let me leave him alone and move it on forward. Transsex horror stories. I'm going to share my two first. And then if there's anybody in the comments that have been a part of sex work, I wish I could bring people on for this. But, Facebook took away that feature to bring people on. So what I am going to do, I'm going to share my little horror story first. And if yes, Yvette. Yes, please tag him. Yes, please tag him. I want him to hear this. Trans sex work horror stories. All right. I tell this story a lot. It was back when I was, heavily on the stroll. They used to make fun of me, honey, telling me, all the times I used to be out there. They'd be like, oh, Niambi's out here on Thanksgiving and Jesus' birthday and all of that. And that made me feel some type of way because, at that particular time, I wasn't, I wasn't living with my family. I didn't really have my family there supporting me at that particular time in my transition. So yes, I was out there nearly every night, 365 days a year. Bitch, I didn't care if it was Sunday, bitch. I didn't care if it was snow outside, bitch. I was the fuck out there. Okay. And, I was walking up and down and a guy rides by. He was a person of color. He was a man of color, which I was already sketchy about anyway. But this particular guy, I knew from my gay mother seeing him and getting in his car. I had to be about maybe 18 or 19 years old by this time. I had already been in sex work for at least maybe 6 or 7 years by this point. So he goes and pulls over. I guess he recognizes me or whatever, and I was very, very apprehensive about getting in because, that thing with men of color, how, everybody who's been in sex work knows what that gives. Okay, I'm not going to really get into that, but everybody knows that who has been in sex work before knows what that gives. If you're on the stroll and, a person of color, a guy of color asks you to get in his car. So, we did a little negotiation, bitch, and I get in. So we're driving to the spot. Dennis, I'll get to your comment in a second. We're driving to the spot and everything, and, we're driving or whatever. And, bitch, we get done our do, he gives me my coin, bitch, and we do our do or whatever. Bitch, and just before we were about to pull off and what I thought was go back for him to drop me off, bitch, he pulls out a gun and wants his money back. He pulls out a gun and puts it in my face and waves it around and all that. And he's like, give me my fucking money back. So, I proceeded to easily go into my handbag, bitch, and give it back to him. He dropped me off right there where I was, told me to get the fuck out of his car. And, bitch, I ran and found the nearest cab that I could. It was, number one, the last time that I ever saw a person, a man of color in that aspect ever again. And it was my very, 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 very last night walking the stroll. It was my very last night walking the stroll. That was my aha moment. That was my come to Jesus moment. That was all of that rolled up into one. It was like, no, I'm not dealing with this anymore. That was the first and the last time someone's ever pulled a gun out on me. And, I definitely dodged a bullet, literally. And, that wasn't the last time that I had done sex work, of course not, but that was the last time that I found myself in that position, walking up and down and just, the whole the whole anonymity of it. That was it for me. And then, another time, I had an ad in the paper and someone came over there and someone came over my house. Mind you, he walked in with a hat and glasses on, which now looking back, bitch, looked real shady anyway. And he wasn't a person of color at all. He was white. And bitch, after everything was over, bitch, and he was about to leave, bitch, he turns around, bitch, and tries to freaking wrestle me. I had the money in my hand, bitch, and he tries to wrestle me on the motherfucking floor, bitch, trying to take the money back and run out the door. Girl, so hey, Christian, so, with those things, with those things happening to me, you know what I mean? Thank goodness that I'm alive to actually talk about them with y'all. But, those were things that let me know, like, bitch, you better make a fucking decision. I am in no way downing people who have to do sex work, but for me, it is not for me anymore. I mean, as far as, putting up ads and going out there and doing what I have to do, survival sex work is that, survival sex work. You know what I mean? You don't, unless you are doing it to survive, you know what I mean? I really, don't see the point in it for survival. Not as an end game. Not as an end game. Not to, even when it becomes legal, people just doing it, willy-nilly. Because there's dangers there. There's dangers there. And, at some point, I want to have, like, some type of workshop so we can discuss, with trans women and, maybe even trans men, too, to talk about some of the risks involved. And are we being careful? If we're in this line of work, are we really being careful and doing everything in our power to protect ourselves? It's very, 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 very important. You know what I mean? It's not about downing what the next person has to do. Is that if they have to do it, are they safe? Hey, Sing, I love you. Yes, honey. Oh, hey, auntie, the way he motherfucking tried to, baby, and mind you, I think at that time rent was due and all that. I think rent was doing all that, bitch. He was not getting that money back, bitch. He was not. I guess he didn't expect me, to fight back. So, bitch, after a while, he got up and ran out. But, bitch, he was not getting that money back. Thank you, Lyric. Lassim says, I don't know you, but you just made me love and live for you. And you're like, oh, thank you. Hi, everybody that's coming in. He was not getting that money back, bitch. He was not. Let me go to, I think Dennis said something about Willow. Dennis says, don't people like Willow seem like they are using cultural appropriation? Yes. Cultural appropriation doesn't just have to do with race. Absolutely. You know what I mean? It's a culture in general, whatever the culture is. You know what I mean? You have people that, it's not just with race. It could be anything. You know what I mean? And the trans culture is something that a lot of people are infatuated with for some reason. People are genuinely struggling with dysphoria, feelings of suicide, trans women of color being killed. Yes, all of that. And Mrs. 5 o'clock Shadow has a wig on and calls himself trans. It's so disrespectful. Yes, it's very, very, very disrespectful. Absolutely. Absolutely. No shade. Yvette says, no shade. I never dealt with black kinds because they'll turn you out. Yes, they will. There's some that won't. But, bitch, I don't feel like digging. Who feels like digging? Hi, everybody. Tammy says, happy user. Yeah, I am too. And now when I see all of these horror stories online for girls that don't make it, it makes me feel, it really makes me feel some type of way. That's why it's so important that if you are a trans woman, trans man, gay man, whatever it is, whoever you identify as, and you are in, survival sex work. And you are in survival sex work, that means you have to. Like, bitch, or you don't eat, or you don't have a place to stay, or you can't get a room for the night, or you don't know what you're going to do. Survival sex work. Then please do everything in your power to make sure that you are safe. If that includes having somebody with you that you trust. What's going on, Michaela? Okay, Brandon. Hi, Brandon. Brandon says, the exact revelation which is needed to open the eyes and ears of folks, because it's always a double-edged sword when it comes to stuff like that. Also, Niambi, you got Philly in you. Shit ain't sweet here. No, it's not. I grew up in West. I grew up in West Philly and lived all over Philadelphia. So, and that comes from, from the Caucasian neighborhood, bitch, all the way on down to the hood and everything in between. Kentrell says any client can try it at any time, but I had a dangerous experience. It was with a black client. Yeah, see? You know what I mean? Like that, like the odds. Like if you look at the statistics, I'm all about odds and numbers and all that. So, if you look at the statistics and the odds, honey, I'm sorry. Like, you know what I mean? Like, especially if you're carrying yourself, to a certain, caliber, you know what I mean? That's all you're going to be, that's all you're going to direct yourself to anyway. Hi, Diana. Hi, Darrell. Hi, Antonio from Chicago. Thank you, Danye. Thank you. I appreciate that. Gigi says, you okay, boo? You sick? Or is it the makeup? It's everything in here. I need a dehumidifier in this room. Once it gets like really hot, you know what I mean? I get all, congested and stuff. It happens a lot. If you notice my videos, it happens a lot, honey. It does. It happens a lot. I'm always sniffling and sniffling. I'm very, very congested. Let me see. Yeah. And with the sex work, just make sure that you are safe. Just make sure that you're safe. And I'm not condoning anything. I'm not saying what is right and what is wrong. For me, that's not me anymore. And if you're a smart bitch, honey, you have a freaking black book or a freaking phone full of contacts, bitch, that you can call at will to where, you know what I mean, and schedule them accordingly. You know what I mean? That way, you know what I mean? These are people that you're familiar with, people that you know, the whole thing. Same thing, Tammy. I need something for all this. It only happens like when I get excited and like when I sweat and all that. And this heavy ass sweater isn't helping. So that brings us to our final topic. Yes, clientele. And mind you, in my phone, honey, I've got next to their name, whatever their name is in my phone, it's clientele in big letters, just like you freaking put right there. It says clientele right next to it. And that's how I know and differentiate. I'd be like, oh, you know what I mean? And these people I've known for 10, 15, 20, 25 years. You know what I mean? And I only call them if I need to. Faith says, do you think sex work, wait a minute. Faith says, do you think sex work has an age limit? Don't you think it gets tired after a while? What about the men who purposely try to give girls diseases on purpose? And then what? At some point, people need to evolve. I be working at McDonald's. These men will try it even if their clients. I know someone who was raped by a client who they liked and he didn't care. Well, the thing about it is, there's always, in this particular line of work, what people have to realize is that there's always a risk. Whether you know them or not, whether you feel comfortable or not, no matter what, no matter how long you've been inside of that business, there's always a risk. That is why I'm a heavy believer in, the whole pity, the whole pity that comes when, yes, it's wrong for whatever these people do to these young women, but at some point, you have to wake up. That's one of the risks that come with what you're doing. There's no rules in it. There's no rules. Wait a minute, y'all. Look. All right. Yeah. That's the thing. There's no rules. There's no rules. If something happens, it's the same thing as being out there and getting arrested. It's the same exact dynamic. Being out there and you get arrested. There's really nobody to blame. You can't blame the officer. You really can't. Yvette says, child, the Butch Queens used to rob the girls back in the day. Yeah, they did. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. That's another thing. It's risk. You know what I mean? It's risk. There's a lot of people that freaking take advantage of you because they know you do sex work. Oh, sis, I know you just got a client. Let me get $30. Let me borrow $30. Oh, you'll get it back. You'll get it back. You'll see that client. What about them folks? Bitch, they know. It's all risk. It's all risk. You run that risk in the profession that you're in. You know? It's just crazy. Like I said, I don't knock anybody for how they make their money, however it is. You know what I mean? Because we live in a world and we live in a time where you have to do what you have to do. You know what I'm saying? I come from that. You know what I mean? So what do I look like judging somebody else if that's where I come from? You know what I mean? But there is a way. There is a way, bitch, especially how everything is so full of technology now, bitch. Bitch, you could be an entrepreneur of sex. Bitch, as long as you're freaking dotting your I's and crossing your T's, bitch. There's a way to do things. There's a process. Like we talked about in the last topic. There's a process. I'm not condoning, anything that can ultimately, but know that it's risk. Just like selling drugs, just like selling cooch, you know what I mean? All of that is risk. It's risk. David says, the Guardian Angels, we patrol the LGBT village, and New York City in our main location is the Stroll. We've been doing it since the early 80s. Wow. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But, like even y'all, I think that's a wonderful thing that y'all do, but even y'all can't be everywhere all the time. There has to be some type of accountability for someone who makes a decision that want to go into that line of work. There has to be. There has to be some type of accountability. There has to be accountability, period. You know what I'm saying? For anybody that gets into that line of work. Know the dangers, know the risk, be prepared. Prepare yourself. But, what are you going to do? Bitch, I ain't trying to police nothing. I ain't trying to police nothing. But, bitch, if I have to, I will. Okay. Now we get ready to move into the final topic that is going to take up the most time because, bitch, I've got a lot. I have got a lot to say about this topic. It is LGBTQ IABC. It's like, no. All these letters versus the Black church. Even though I'm pretty sure that it happens in churches all across America. But primarily this generational bashing of sexuality, mainly from what I've seen and from what I've experienced, comes from the Black church. So we're going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about a few of my experiences, and then, as always, y'all are more than welcome to chime in the comment section. Yvette says, I've never seen them on 14th. No shade, maybe Christopher, but not 14th. Oh, okay. Yeah, Faith. Ooh, I made it for the topic. Yes. Yes. That's why I made this one last, because this is going to be the longest one. Number one, I'm tired of the hypocrisy. Plain and simple. I'm tired of the hypocrisy. I grew up in the church. I grew up religious. I did notice at a young age, I would say maybe around 11 or 12, that my grandmother, kind of like stopped going to church. And I kind of, gravitated to that a little bit because, if you're in that type of religion, you don't need a whole lot of people. You don't need a whole lot of people. I'm getting ready to get to that, Dominique. I see your comment. I'm getting ready to get to that. You don't need a whole lot of people to, worship, whoever you choose, to worship. You know what I mean? I grew up in Baptist. I grew up in African Methodist Episcopal. That's my, on my grandparents, on my dad's side. They were AME. My, my mother's side, Baptist. And it wasn't until when I started having these feelings of transition, being different, what they thought is different, because I've always been me. You know what I mean? And for people to try to make me feel like something's wrong with me when, bitch, it's something wrong with you. Because I'm not changing myself. This is who I am. I'm not changing myself for nobody. You know what I mean? In hindsight. You know what I'm saying? But, I remember all these feelings and just feeling so awkward in church, especially when they were having conversations like, oh, this is wrong. You're going to hell. You're going to die for this is the way you feel, for feeling the way you feel. And it didn't make sense to me then as a young kid, because if there is God that's out there and you're preaching and telling me that God is love and all of these things are love and you're supposed to love your neighbor and love this, how can I love somebody that's going to hate me? How can I love someone that's going to blatantly hate me for no other reason than me being who I am? Hold on, let me go to Dominique's comment first. Where's she at? 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 Did I pass it? No, it's down here somewhere. Oh, it's right here. Okay. Just to be clear, spirituality and religion are different. Everyone wants to be Christian without being Christ-like. Yes. That is the main thing here. That is why, I do my readings and all of that stuff on the side. What I do, because that is what I am into. Spirituality has to do with your spirit. Religion, you're praying to something and you're involved in something. You know what I mean? Whatever it is. And to me, spirituality, we all have one spirit. We all have spirit. And it's a unified being. It's one thing that we all have. We all have spirit. Religion, you have 32,462. I don't know if that's an accurate number. Probably not. Probably more than that. All these different religions that were put here. Someone came up with a religion, then they get a whole bunch of people to follow them for that religion. They get one person in that religion gets tired of that and makes their own religion. You know what I mean? And so on and so forth until that's what we have, until we have what we have now. But as far as the black church, it was really, 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 really bad for me as a kid. Mind you, in that church, bitch, it was freaking 5,600 freaking queers freaking running around through that church. Closeted in the whole thing. You know what I mean? And our eye, bitch, we know what it looks like. So, bitch, if you see somebody else, like, bitch, wait a minute. We know what it looks like. So, but they had to have seen something else in me that wasn't like them, because the focus was always on me. Why is he acting so much like a girl? Why is this? Why is that? It's all these fucking questions when I didn't even know who I was yet. I didn't know who I was yet. You know what I mean? So instead of making it a comfortable place for me, I ended up leaving too, because I'm a type of person is, why do I have to freaking put up with that? What is it about me that I would have to put up with that type of behavior towards me? What is it? Faith says, when I was younger, we used to act like we had the Holy Ghost. Remember Antoine Fisher? I went to parochial school and a Baptist school, and a lot of us were born or brought up in the church. Child, we went Wednesday night, Saturday morning, Monday night, and my aunt used to get beat after church, and my uncle would be drunk, and he was the deacon. Baby, don't let me tell stories. Exactly. And the thing about it is, the person that is pointing the finger at you the most is the one that's guilty the most of shit that they're doing. Jasmine says, I'm a preacher's kid. Child, I know the struggle. Now, see, for me, my dad wasn't a preacher. We were all in the church. It wasn't until just recently, like after my transition, that he became a minister. And then that's when, I'll get into that one another live, but seriously. Cantrell says organized religion is a cult. My opinion, there's a lot of brainwashing going on. Faith says they hate you, but Sister Mary Clarence's daughter used abortion as a contraception. It's murder for black people. Only pick and choose what they follow out the Bible. Judge ye, yet not be judged. Yeah, and the thing about it is, all of that. To me, the Bible is just a book. It's just a book. It's a book. It's a book of reference. It's a book of reference to stuff that happened back then, or that supposedly happened back then. Shit has been added, taken out, flipped, died, fried, died, and laid to the side all up and through that book. I don't believe nothing in it. I didn't live back then, so there's no reason for me to to follow what's going on in there. I'm going by now. Treat me how my grandmother taught me to treat people, how I would want to be treated. That's what I do, and that's what I live by. That's it. It's very simple for me. Faith says, oh, they clock and spook pre-T, but the gay male or the butch queen singing in the choir, child, please. Oh, baby, the organist in that church that I used to go to, baby, that organist, when I tell you he used to have this motherfucking curled, motherfucking tapered wig, bitch, and I would be sitting there like, and look at how everybody used to just invite him and just, be so inviting and love him, bitch, but would look at me, the person who was, unsure of myself, with these hateful eyes. I never got it. Dominique says, we live in a world that has been conditioned by religious laws stemming centuries. Yes, I agree with that. This is where psychology is influenced by sociology. People don't know themselves, just who they are told to be. Exactly. I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. And that's what's so special. That's what's so special about my community, my LGBTQ people, you know what I mean? Because we buck that authority. We always have a whole, community of people telling us who we are when our brains are telling us different. And we live by that. You know what I mean? We're so courageous and we live by that. Cantrell said it was only because he was the organist. What the fuck was his name? What was his name? Ooh, bitch, his name was Ernest Blanchard, bitch. I'm sorry to put you up on, baby. You probably long gone by now because you was old then. But his name was Ernest Blanchard. Baby. He was a queen to be. Yes, he was, bitch. Brandon said to demoralize, deplete, and dissolve the minds and hearts and spirits of people sounds very similar, indoctrination, slavery, oppression, take your pick. Exactly. That's what it kind of reminds me of. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then want you to pay them for their indiscretions? I don't think so. Cantrell says if he wasn't slamming them keys, they'd outwardly hate him too. Probably so. You're probably right. You're probably right. Yes. Yeah, so it was very, very, very awkward. And the thing about it is to make children feel like that when they're not even sure who they are. You know what I mean? I'm kind of glad in a way that I did go through that, because now I'm able to talk about it and discuss it and, talk about how I felt. You know what I mean? If there's any other young people that have felt that way, know that they're not alone. You know what I mean? That whole thing. But a lot of people like really have nerve. Faith says, my mom and dad was killed when I was younger. And when we stayed with my aunt, and they used to beat the shit out of me, only me, not my brothers. And later on, when I moved to Orlando, I had a DL man pray for me and pray for me, a wife. Child, I waited 2 years, etc., etc. Lord have mercy. Yeah, I love how people think that it's something that can be prayed out. That can be prayed out or removed or all of these things. Baby, that brings me to this quick story real quick. Keep posting your experiences in the comment section. Do not forget, I didn't say it when there was 40 people in here, so I'll say it when there's 20. Share this live. This is very important. These were 4 important topics that we have talked about today. If you would like to be generous and donate, the link is in the description box at bit.ly/transinformation. Please like and share the Transinformation Facebook page. And that's it. Okay. So I was in jail. I was in jail. This was one of like my first times like going through there. And there was another gay man in there with me, but he was very, very flamboyant and all of that. Bitch, they called him Monster. God rest his soul, because he passed too. And they called him Monster, child. But anyway, we left off of the block to go to church one time. For him, it was just just to get off the block, just to get away from everybody or whatever. But I wanted to see what everybody, what they basically had to say, because they used to send people from the outside. I found out later that these people weren't preachers; they were just people that did church from the outside that they would send in. So, bitch, we get there, and he's got his legs crossed, bitch, smacking and shit like that. And I'm sitting there, paying attention or whatever. So about halfway through what this person had to say, bitch, he calls me. He was like, yeah, you. So I'm looking at like me, you know what I mean? And he's like, yeah, you. I said, hey, Jasmine, we're not going to do that, Jasmine. This is just in between y'all putting your comments in the thing. I can't bring y'all on no more. Did you forget that I can't bring people on? But anyway, so he's like, could you come up to the front? So I come up to the front, and he has me standing in line. He's like, I'm going to pray for you. So I'm like, pray for me. I'm like, all right, well, I am kind of in a bad situation, so I'll let him pray for me, bitch. He took his hand, bitch, and put it on my head like that, bitch. And was like, remove the started shaking my head, some bitch saying, remove the demons. From that moment on, I was just like, no. Like, no. Like, people are going to stop, you know what I mean, trying to create this narrative, like, like I am wrong and, that I am this and all of that. Bitch, it was a mess. It was a mess. It was a mess. So yeah, religion is a crazy thing. I mean, you're entitled to believe whatever you want to believe. You know what I mean? We have that choice. Yvette says, I was supposed to go to Catholic school in junior high. I started saying lines from The Exorcist, and suffice to say, I didn't go. Girl. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that. Okay, Monet says, now the comments are starting to come. Monet says, I used to go to the regular church all the time in prison. They can't take the LGBT inmates. Right. So you know what I'm talking about. And we was deep. Always purposely talking about the gay and being an abomination, etc. Yes. But the Spanish church was welcoming. There was dancing and everyone was able to be themselves. It was nice. Yeah. And that's what I say. Like, for me, it's primarily the African American church that does these things. Like, you know what I mean? I haven't experienced, any of the other churches, but from what I see, it really doesn't happen. You know what I mean? There's just this big sense of hypermasculinity that men are supposed to be this certain way in the black church and in the black community. It's stupid and it's dumb. It's dumb. Yes. Yeah, so, we talked about, we had our 4 topics today. We talked about trans sex work horror stories. We talked about trans people invading spaces claiming lack of inclusion. We talked about the case of Willow Kessler, the gay man who is impersonating and has impersonated a trans woman. And we also talked about LGBTQ versus the church. So if there is anybody that has any questions, wants to share stories, the floor is open to everybody and anybody. Let's have it. Let's talk about it. We also talked about freaking knackers and niggas being the same thing. We also talked about that. Let's see what else. Oh, hold on. Here we go. Faith says, don't be homeless. The first thing they do is throw the Bible at you. I remember it was an accident and this lady said, God covered me because my car didn't get hurt. Well, I mean, the main thing about religion, the main focus of religion is faith. So if you're supposed to, that is something that you're supposed to believe in. You're supposed to have faith. You know what I mean? When it comes to religion. And that goes for any religion. You know what I mean? It's something that you have faith in. To me, I personally think nothing gets done unless we are active and actually doing it. You know what I mean? I do believe the universe can shift you in the right direction. You know what I mean? But that depends on what you're giving out. If you're giving out positive energy will freaking, return. The universe will give you positive energy. If you're giving out negative, the universe will give you negative energy. That is just how that goes. In my opinion. But you have people that believe otherwise. I'm not here to discount anybody's religion. I just worry about myself when it comes to that. Faith says that's why it's funny. Girls want you to be open, but as soon as you're open, you're judged like somebody dies and come back. Yeah, you know what I mean. You can't be transparent. Why do you think there's so many, deacons and ministers and stuff like that have all them skeletons in their closet? Because they're afraid to be authentically themselves because they know that they'll be judged and looked at. Oh, you're supposed to be this, so why are you doing this? You're not supposed to be doing that. God doesn't like that. White Jesus doesn't like it. Monet says, why don't poor white trans feelings and thoughts aren't validated when they are struggling too? Yeah, it's not just black people that are struggling. Everybody's struggling. Everybody's struggling. Struggle doesn't not have a color on it. But the thing about it is, just like privilege doesn't have a color on it neither. A lot of people seem to think that privilege only belongs to the white community. But there are plenty of freaking African American people and families that are well off and do not give back and forget all about the people that are in their community. You know what I mean? Privilege comes in all colors. Faith says, my granddad used to gossip for hours on the phone. I remember before even doing my thing, they'd be like, that's a man, this and that. Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm going to get into that too on another live, like blowing, blowing trans people up and all of that. I'm definitely going to attack that because I know it's been talked about by a lot of like different platforms, but bitch, not like I'm going to talk about it. Not like I'm going to talk about it, bitch. Because, baby, all of that freaking being nice and all of that, like, nobody's got time for that. People want to hear the way it is. Stop fucking sugarcoating shit. People are always sugarcoating stuff just to because they don't want to offend. Sometimes people need to hear what it actually is. Sometimes people need to hear the truth and how it is. You know what I mean? And not some freaking old sugarcoating shit. People love to sugarcoat things. Beating around the bush. Well, he don't. He don't. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. He's not a fan of it. I'm telling you, honey. I just don't see. Like, we have men and women and all of that are not perfect. So I know, bitch, they was not perfect back then. And you're not going to tell me, bitch. Bitch, we had Jesuses of all different races and everything. Bitch, they was probably sitting around a motherfucking burning bush smoking weed together and the whole motherfucking thing, bitch. Don't none of us know, bitch, we were not there. And if they were, bitch, do you think that they would put it in the Bible? Come on. I can't. I can't. And I was kind of second guessing myself when having a conversation like this because I thought that it was just like going to go left, but I actually feel good that I actually had it. Y'all were able to share some of y'all experiences with the church and all of that. Let me see. Monet says, is your public comments enabled where non-friends and followers can comment? Yeah, my page is public, so anybody can comment on it. They can say whatever they want to, which is a good thing and a bad thing all at the same damn time. It's a good thing and a bad thing. Because sometimes, sometimes I get into the comments, but other times I really don't like to. Because a lot of people, where their like mentality is at, is like totally backwards. Yeah. So, what I got coming up this week, I see that the majority of the people left, so I'm going to get out of here just to let y'all know what I got coming up for this week. This coming Thursday, I will be live for Learn Your History. We will be discussing the Dorian Corey Awards Ball that is coming up this weekend in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Friday, I will be doing readings again. My live that I did yesterday was kind of short, so I will be doing free readings. Go to the Niambi Facebook page to find out how you can score your free reading. Jasmine says, I recently asked my mother if I flew home for my father's wedding, if I could stay with her. And she said, well, you got your your own life, and I got mine. You got your own life now, and I got mine, and I'm doing my own thing. All this to say that she didn't want me to stay because I am who I am, and it's because of her religious beliefs that she feels that way. And that makes me so mad. That makes me so mad, and I'm sorry, Auntie, that you have to go through that. That makes me so pissed off and upset. Let me get my Retta, honey. That makes me so upset. I can't stand that. I cannot stand that. Instead of opening your eyes and loving your child regardless. That bothers me. That bothers me. I love you too, Auntie. That bothers me because I went through that in the beginnings of my transition. It was like I stayed away for so long. You know what I mean? Had things happen to me and had been independent, was independent for years. You know what I mean? It was just a process. Like for me, it was a long process. Now my family can't live without me, but it was never like that. It was never like that. Hi, Miss Cassie. Hello. I'm glad you came in. Friday. Is that Miss Casey? I hope I'm saying it right. Casey. Okay, Casey has these wonderful bedazzled like earphones for your phone. I want to talk to you after the live because I want to get some. But my phone, the new phone that I have, doesn't have an earphone jack. So I was wondering if you were able to do it with the wire that goes into your phone. But I'll talk to you about it after the live. But thank you. I love you too, Jasmine. But that really, really fucking bothers me. That really bothers me. I mean, even though it was a process, you know what I mean? My family wasn't the way it is, and it didn't happen overnight. You know, I'm blessed that it came out the way that it did, but with all of the shit that I went through that could have been avoided if I'd have only just had their support there with me going through what I was going through. If I would have only had that. What's going on, Sage? Faith says, fuck the process. I don't have time to wait for anybody to warm up to me like a teapot. So, child, bye-bye. Yeah, well, the thing about it is, Faith, you're saying that from your eyes at your age now. You know what I mean? It was different when you needed that validation when you were a kid. You know what I mean? I needed them at crucial ages in life, going through puberty, like 12, 13, 14, 15. You know what I mean? You're not that realized yet. Like, I wasn't that realized yet. Like, oh yeah, fuck them. I don't need them. Even though by the time I became 15, my brain was a whole lot more ahead than my body was. So I ended up leaving anyway. And I did say, fuck that. You know what I mean? I definitely did get to that point. I definitely did get to that point to where I was like, child, I don't need, like I could do this on my own. You know? And thank goodness that I'm still here today to talk about it. Thank goodness that I'm still here to talk about it. And that's the way that is the best way to say to somebody in your fucking face is to become independent and not need nobody. That is the best way. Faith says the first time they be like, oh, you not secure, oh, this and that. It's like beating a dead horse. Yeah, a lot of people think that it's a phase. It's something that can be put in and taken out of you. It doesn't work that way, especially not for trans people. You know what I mean? Who you're attracted to can change with day and night. With trans people, it's not like that. And people need to realize that. Everybody needs to realize that. So the 13 people that's left, share this video and let people know that that is not, you know, it's just not that way. Faith says, I understand you were a kitten then, so I get it, and you had your parents, so it was a different dynamic though, but still people be like, you're not secure. No, they're mad, big mad. There's a lot of people, and there's a lot of people when they find that about you, especially if you lose your parents, because I actually lost my gay mother when I was young in transition. And the thing about it is, instead of seeking, like, instead of being, you know, standing on my own, I started looking, being as though I was so young, I started looking for validation in other folks. You haven't taken over the comments talk, honey. That's what we're here for. I started seeking validation in other places. You know what I mean? To fill that parental void that she had in my life. You know what I mean? Telling me, you know, giving me certain points about transition, teaching me things and stuff like that. After she left, nobody could freaking teach me that, so I thought. Instead, I was seeking validation in other motherfuckers. You know, but what you going to do? What are you going to do? But if there's no other comments, I'm going to get out of here. I got some laundry to do. So I will be live Thursday and Friday. Thursday for ballroom, Friday for spiritual readings. Share my platforms if you can, if you're interested in any of them. If you're feeling generous, bit.ly/Transinformation. It's pinned in the comment section. If you would like to help me become a United States 501c3 and be able to obtain grants to help out my community. All right. So I'm going to get out of here. I had a wonderful time with y'all, and I will see y'all next Tuesday. For those that follow me on Trans Talk Tuesday, I will be back next Tuesday. All right. I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.